survive on my own. So I'll walk through life on my own. I'm a ghost. I'm not done when it comes. No, I won't run, won't hold my tongue. This is the enemy you see me again, I guarantee. I'm not done, I won't run. When my time comes, you think you've won. Won't be denied the prize I see. Just leave a light on for me, 'cause I'm coming home.
What is up, guys? So it is day 29. It's Monday and we have squats today. So gonna go in and hit a set of 6, I believe, somewhere around 270. So that's gonna be, man, I haven't hit numbers like that since before the Arnold last March. So my legs feel good. We had a 7-mile run yesterday, which was not only a distance PR, but a pace PR for the 7 miles. A low average heart rate PR. My average heart rate for the whole run was 160. That's a PR for me. And just like an overall pride in the amount that like my body can do with leg days and going into like a long run like that after the weekend I had. So last weekend I was back home. I ate grandma's home cooked meals all weekend. I'm up like 2 pounds today. That'll probably come off this week, just some bloating and extra stuff from not tracking and being on like a strict nutrition plan this weekend. But feeling good for squats today, and like my legs are not sore from a 7-mile run yesterday, which is a massive deal for me because typically even after a 3-mile run I would be sore, and 7 is 4 more than that and I'm not sore. So I'm stoked. Training is feeling really good. I have my MRIs this week. I'm really honestly hoping that the news is good and I can get into PT and get back to some upper body exercises, because I feel like my arms are getting small. Don't like that, but let's get it today. What is up, guys? So it is Wednesday. I have pause squats, a set of 5, somewhere between 255 and 270, depending on how my legs feel, and then a 4-mile run, 2-mile warm-up, a 1.5 mile pretty fast at a fast pace, and then a 1/2 mile cool down. So let's get it. What is up, guys? So today is Thursday. Yesterday we skipped the 4-mile just because my body was feeling a lot of extra fatigue and I was getting some extra knee pain just after squats. But today, last night, I slept like 10.5 hours. So obviously skipping that was a good thing because my body really needed the sleep and recovery. I was feeling bad about it last night, but after seeing that I slept 10.5 hours, I know that my body needed that break. So basically what happened today was I came back in, I hit a 3-mile this morning. My heart rate was a little bit higher than normal, so I just kept it at 3, tried to keep it pretty slow and steady, and it felt good. My body still is just kind of recovering The other thing that female athletes especially obviously have to pay attention to is their cycle. And for me, I try to program things a little bit around that based on fatigue and weight fluctuations. So, for example, this past weekend, I was back up to 172, and I blamed a lot of it on not tracking my nutrition over the weekend and just like some bloating from that. Well, yeah, but like a 4-pound gain is kind of a lot for just not tracking for one weekend and still eating mostly consciously. So, I finally realized that it was the part of my cycle where that bloating occurs. I usually am way more fatigued. I get way more tired, and I just obviously have like a general feeling of like malaise, and you know, I'm usually a little bit crabby, and that's kind of how it was the last couple days. And as a female athlete, that's something you always have to consider. The males probably won't like hearing this, but it's reality, and it is what it is. So rolling with the punches this week with that, and just listening to my body. So we did that 3-mile today, nothing for the rest of the day most likely, maybe some light arms in the hotel room tonight. But tomorrow will be deadlifts in the afternoon, and then Saturday will be my long run depending on how I feel. So I might have to cut that long run down, but that's just kind of how you have to roll with training and roll with the punches, especially when recovery is the name of the game with this program. So we will see how I feel tonight and tomorrow going into Saturday, but really glad that I kind of laid off the gas yesterday, and I'm giving my body what it needs right now. What is up, guys? So it is Friday. My week has like turned around so much better. We finished work this morning, got off this afternoon, came home, and I had a package because I ordered new Hokas. Super freaking excited to use these for running. It's just like an extra motivation now. Plus the color is super cool. Love these. I am super stoked to use them. I'm going to run a 2-mile today to kind of make up for the miles I missed earlier this week because I was so freaking tired. The other new thing that we have is the new Garmin heart rate strap. So I feel like my wrist strap on my Garmin has been great, but I feel like it's been tracking a little bit high. So gonna get this guy, give this guy a go, see what happens. I'm really excited to use this and, you know, use my new shoes and get some extra motivation just from new things. So today we have deadlifts, heavy deadlifts, set of 5. Last week we did 365 for 5, so we're gonna see what we pull this week. It's all based on RPE, and then after that just do a quick 2-mile and wrap it up for the day. Maybe do a little leg accessory, maybe some back and biceps depending on how long I want to be here. And then tomorrow will be a long run. I believe I have 8 miles tomorrow, so new shoes came in clutch for that because that's the longest I will have ever ran. Every week will be a PR from here out. So super stoked. Really excited to get to use this new stuff. So let's get it.
That I gotta reclaim. Few calls that I wanna replay. Left me, look what I became. No, I'm not done. When it comes, no, I won't run. Won't hold my tongue. This ain't the end of me, you see. See me again, I guarantee. I'm not done. No, I won't run. When my time comes, you think you've won. You think? Don't be denied the prize I seek. Nah. Just leave a light, need on for me. I'm coming home. I left a note for you on the table.
Alright, welcome back. So thank you for tuning in to another week of meet and marathon prep updates. This week we're going to cover what my MRI results came back as. We're going to cover what my current macros are and just kind of a training recap slash what's coming next week, well, this week, with the program. So looking back, last week we had those 2 MRIs. I had one on my left shoulder and one on my left knee. Basically, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with either of them. The good news is my shoulder is cleared to go for exercise. So I'm going to start physical therapy on that this week. Super excited to get in. I got a guy in Lincoln. His name's Troy, and he's a powerlifter and he runs. So it's like exactly what I need. I'm really excited to start working with him. I tried some upper body exercises after I got the results back. They hurt a little bit, but now that I know nothing is torn or actually injured, it's just kind of some bruising and a lot of inflammation, I can start working some more of those in and be a little more aggressive than I have been with it. Obviously careful, but aggressive. So shoulder's great. On the other hand, my knee, which had been giving me a lot more pain this week, earlier in the week with runs, to preface, the only time it actually hurts and bothers me is probably about the first half mile of any run. That doesn't matter how much warming up I did, whether it's biking and, doing body weight movements and RDLs and all that good stuff and knee rehab. It doesn't matter how much of that I do, I still get pain with it. It's the first half mile of any run. It's going up and down stairs, and it's sometimes with lunges or like split squats. Rear foot elevated split squats are an absolute no-go. So with that being said, what's actually going on in there is on my kneecap. So kneecap sits here on the upper outside. I have some loose cartilage that's kind of hanging out in there, and it's causing pain when my kneecap or when my quads engage, basically. And so what they would normally do for that is do a knee scope, maybe clean it up a little bit, see how thin the cartilage is after they clean it up, maybe put some synthetic cartilage in there after the scope, etc. It's kind of a long process. Well, with me being who I am and with what I'm doing with the Marine Corps and going to my next school in May, that's a no-go for me. So what we're going to do is next week, hopefully I can get scheduled. We're going to do a steroid shot up in that upper quadrant of my knee. The doctor said that should eliminate a lot of the pain I've been having with just kind of that loose cartilage. There's nothing that's going to be really, really bad for long term, but eventually I will need that scope. The other cool thing is that I'm 24 and I do have like the initial stages of some arthritis in my knee. So I love my genetics, but my family is just notorious for having knee problems. My grandma had a double knee surgery several years back, and not a lot of people in my family actually work out. So their knee problems came later in life. Mine are coming a little bit earlier just because I have been pushing my body so hard for so many years. The good news is that I don't ever get pain with actual powerlifting, and after this half marathon prep, that's like 70% of what I'm going back to. The other 30% will be maintaining like a CrossFit cardiovascular fitness just for Marine Corps fitness tests and things like that. So those are the MRI results. I can't really complain. Shoulder's doing well. It just hurts. So I'm going to have to work around the pain and figure out what exercises I need to do to get the pain better. And then my knee, I just will have to work around it. Normally we do 3 runs a week and then the long run on Saturdays. I'm going to cut out that second run and actually get on a bike or an elliptical, something that's a little bit less impactful on my knee. So Tuesday we'll do a run, Thursday we'll do a run, that Wednesday will be like a bike or elliptical or something to kind of make up for the cardio aspect of it. I'm just not getting the miles under my feet, which I'm okay with because getting a lot of pain from last week. And then the long runs will stay for now. We'll see how those feel. Speaking of long runs, hit an 8-mile long run on Saturday, and that's a PR, distance PR. Like I said earlier in the video, every mile or every long run from here out is a PR. I've never obviously ran 8 miles in my life all in one consecutive run. That was a massive PR. I was super proud after, but I also got in kind of a headspace of I wish I could do more, or I wish I could have pushed faster. My pace was about 11:03 per mile, which is what I want my half pace to be, which is great because I was able to maintain that the whole time and keep my heart rate mostly below max. But the problem with me is that for lack of better words, I'm pretty thick and I have a powerlifter's body and I'm trying to run for a half marathon. So my heart rate gets high and it stays high. I think my average was like a 170, 168 for that whole run, which is high, and it's hard to push when your heart is just like literally beating out of your chest for the whole time. So I try to keep that pace slow just so I can keep my heart rate down, but it's hard to do when you are like me and you want to go fast and you want to see results through numbers and you want to keep pushing all the time. So that's kind of the results of the MRI and the 8 mile. But stay tuned and we'll go into some macros, what my current macros are, what my current diet is, and what my current cut is. the current program that we're on is a meet marathon program, right? And so for powerlifting meets, you have to fit into a weight class. Notoriously, I cut down to 72 kilograms, which is 158 pounds. USAPL and USPA both have 75 kilogram weight classes now, which is 165 pounds. So about 5 weeks ago when I started this program, I was sitting around 174. Now I'm about 169, depends on the day. Obviously that fluctuates a lot. But yeah, I'm about 169 right now. The goal is to get down to 165. But obviously being on a meet prep and a marathon prep and trying to lose another 4 pounds in addition to about the 4 pounds I've lost, is hard. My body, as you all saw this week, my body I got very fatigued. I had to also pay attention to some cycle things that were going on with being a woman. Love that. And just kind of, being really aware of what I'm eating and eating intuitively. So in a previous video, I mentioned the full day of eating. I mentioned that I track Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays and Sundays I stop because it gets a little bit stressful. Now, if I was on a nationals prep or a prep for the Arnold, that's not how I work. I track everything down to literally the gram of whatever I'm putting in my body of protein or whatever it may be. However, for this meet and this prep, I'm a little more flexible. Obviously, it's not a national meet. It's not something that I'm going to go out and just try to absolutely destroy myself with. It's more or less like eating intuitively so that my body feels good and can recover, because the name of this program is recovery. So what I try to do right now is have about 4 or 5 meals a day. With the macros that I'm trying to hit, my protein stays somewhere between 170 and 200. I try to get that as close to 200 every day as I can, but that's obviously really, really difficult with trying to eat and also trying to eat in a deficit. Fats, I keep somewhere between 50 and 70 grams, usually about 75. I try to put that towards the lower end. My body just tends to work better when I'm eating a low-fat diet, which is like that 50-gram kind of mark. Lately, that's been bouncing up to 70, 75, 80. Just because of the foods I've been eating. So I'm going to try to kind of slim that down a little bit, try to get back down to those 50 and 60s. So protein, usually about 175, fats around 65, and then carbohydrates, I keep anywhere from 225 to 300. So if I'm going to do a long run or a really fatiguing workout, I try to get closer to 300. If I am resting the next day, I'll stay down in that 225 range. These macros put me somewhere in a caloric intake of 2,300 to 2,500 calories a day. My maintenance would be probably 28 to 3,000. If I wanted to gain, I would eat more than 3,000. So cutting 23 to 2,500 calories, that puts me anywhere from a 300 to a 500 calorie deficit, depending on the day and depending on my activity level. That deficit is what allows me to continue to lose weight over the course of this program. Now, with a program this intense and with this much activity, you really have to watch kind of what you're burning that day. The Garmin does a really good job of tracking kind of how many calories I've burned for the day. There is some error with that, but you have to take that with a grain of salt. There's going to be some error in your tracking. There's going to be some error on what you weigh every morning and all of those things. So what I try to shoot for is about 0.5% weight loss per week. That puts me a little under a pound a week, probably about 0.7 of a pound a week of loss. Right now, I've kind of stalled out in this middle phase of the program at 169 because I kind of stopped tracking super strictly the last 2 weeks. I went home and had some events go on. I had some stuff going on during the week. I was really stressed. I definitely had some cheat meals with my cycle last week, so I'm just flexible with that. I really try to eat intuitively, but I really try to eat really well so that I feel good and can recover. But that's just a quick snapshot of my macros. Again, the protein is around 175, carbs are around 250-ish depending on the day, and fats are around about 65. So puts me about 23 to 2,500 calories, and when I hit that, I feel good. It's less than what I would like to be eating right now, but if I'm gonna hit that weight class for the meet, that's where I gotta be at, so. Alright guys, so thank so much for tuning in again to another week of updates. This vlog is basically all about what I'm learning from this program, how I'm doing things in this program, how you can learn from this program, and just kind of a documentation of, you know, what's going on and what I'm learning. So I hope you got something out of this episode. Basically, last week's training went really well, other than the fact that I just got really tired midweek. My cycle had a lot to do with that. My weight fluctuations got frustrating, I got stressed, and it's important to remember that, like, you're human, because I'm human and I have to remember that. It's hard to sometimes not just push and expect results and expect everything to be perfect, but just know that no matter what kind of program you're on, whether it's one that's this intense or one that is less intense, or it's just you're working on weight loss or whatever your goal is, remember that you're gonna have bad days, and reach out to friends, reach out to family, go to the gym anyways, do what you want to do anyways, be flexible with it, because you're gonna have those days, and I have them, everyone has them, and if somebody says they don't have them, then they're probably lying. So my long run surprised me, hit that 8 mile on Saturday, hit heavy deadlifts the day before. I'm excited to bump those deadlifts up this week, bump some squats up this week. I'm going to take out that middle run this week, see what happens. Hopefully that just kind of like takes some of the pressure off my knee and, gives me a little bit more wiggle room with the strength. So I mentioned this on Instagram, but this program is one where I can't go 100% into strength and 100% into endurance. I have to scale those both back, go about 70% into both, and push, because if I push one 100%, one scales this way and isn't doing as well, or if I push this one, it's like a teeter-totter. I have to balance it out. So I can't go 100% into both, which, as the kind of person I am, that's obviously very, very frustrating. However, both of my parameters on endurance and strength are improving, and that was the whole point of this program, was to prove to people that could be done. So again, thank you for tuning in. I look forward to updating you guys on what goes on this week. Week 5 was awesome, so we're gonna bring in some good energy to week 6 and keep crushing it. So have a great week, guys, and I will see you next time.
Soulless, focus, no chance, goalless. It's easier to dismiss my name. Don't need your love to relieve my pain that I feel down low. See, no man alive can affect my growth. You feel the